Let's get it. Bitcoin is about to go through a supply shock that is going to send it to new all-time highs. In addition, Bitcoin ETFs are going to have a high probability of getting approved, potentially as early as October. And there is a top indicator that has not even come close to topping out. So let's get into it. What is up, everybody? My name is Tom and welcome to the Crypto Cabin. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how this Bitcoin supply shock is at the same levels as we were in October of 2017 before it went on a parabolic run. We are also going to be talking about Bitcoin ETFs and how there is an extremely high chance of there being an approval before the end of October. Last but not least, we will also talk about how Google Trends remains really low even as the price is rising, which means that there is not a bunch of new money coming into this space quite yet, which is extremely bullish for the rest of 2021. First of all, the Bitcoin supply shock. Reserves drop to new lows not seen since October of 2017. So what does this mean? So when the value of this metric goes up, it means that there is now an increase in the supply of Bitcoin, which would be available then for selling or purchasing other altcoins. Such a change can then drive the price down. However, on the other hand, when Bitcoin is reduced on exchanges, then the value of the reserves will show a decline, and that is potentially bullish long term. As it is decreasing here, this is the chart that we can see here, the spot reserves have been decreasing actually since the May halving. So it's hard to see this, but right down here is the month of May, which is where it was kind of at this little peak here. Ever since then, price has been skyrocketing up, going up and to the right, and the spot reserves have been going down and to the right. So it would make sense that as the reserves decrease, the price is going up. We are also now at the same levels, as you can see from this black trend line here, from October of 2017 before we went on this parabolic run up to roughly 20,000 back then. This decrease in reserves could potentially mean that there's a supply shock brewing up for Bitcoin and could definitely be bullish. In other bullish news, let's talk about why a US Bitcoin ETF has a 75% chance of being approved in the month of October. So there are two main factors that are contributing to this forecast of 75%. First of all, there have been previously approved mutual funds, and the SEC boss Gary Gensler, his stance on crypto is about not banning but moving more towards regulation. This first point here of previously approved mutual funds is relating to the fact that Canada and Brazil have already approved ETFs, even though the US has not yet. What he is saying, James Seyfarth here is saying, is that these Bitcoin ETFs carry the same language as what has already been approved in Canada. So why not in the US as well? He explains that since the SEC has approved a mutual fund with the same language, there's a very high chance that there would also be a Bitcoin ETF approved in the United States. The second point here relating to Gary Gensler's stance on crypto is that he has also stated that in addition to not banning cryptocurrencies, that he will be looking forward to reviewing any ETF filings. So he is looking forward to taking a look at what these could be, and hopefully that is a good sign. He's at least willing to look at them, and there is a few of them. So we will take a look at those right away here as well. This is what is upcoming. So in the previous article, they mention Seyfarth, and there's also Balkunas here, who is also mentioned in that article. And he has tweeted that the SEC has, kicked the can on the Bitcoin ETF approval, but that was only for physically backed ones under the Act of 1933, the Securities Act of 1933. However, the futures ETFs that were filed under the 1940 Act, which apparently Gary Gensler loves, are very much alive. And so they are giving a Bitcoin ETF a 75% chance of approval through October. So there are 5 potential ones coming up here, and these are going to be some important dates to keep on your calendar. So October 18th, October 19th, 2 on October 25th, and then 1 on November 1st. If one of these does get approved, that is going to bring a ton more capital into the space and is going to be good for Bitcoin, and then of course is going to be good for the cryptocurrency space in general. BlockFi is also trying to get in onto this ETF race here. Cryptocurrency lender BlockFi has filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to launch a futures-based Bitcoin exchange traded fund, or ETF, in the U.S. So they are joining in on this race as well. And as we just mentioned from that tweet, future-based ETFs are potentially the ones that will be good to go. The physically backed ones doesn't look like they are good to go. So the fact that BlockFi is doing a futures-based one has potential to get approved. In case you're wondering what BlockFi is, it is an account where you can keep your cryptocurrency and earn interest on it. So if you scroll down to the bottom of their website, you will see that they check out their rates here. So this is what you'll get in APY on all of your different cryptocurrencies that you have in here. So there's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Link, and then PaxG, and a couple other stable coins. And then we've also got Uniswap and Basic Attention Token at this time as well. When we take a quick look at the rest of their products here, obviously the interest account, which I just mentioned, and then you can also trade, so you can swap Bitcoin for Ethereum, Ethereum for Litecoin, Litecoin for Chainlink, whatever you prefer. And then you can also take out crypto-backed loans. So this means that you don't need to sell your cryptocurrency. If you need a little extra cash, you can take out a loan against it and keep holding your crypto. If you would like to start a BlockFi account, there is a referral link in the description below. If you go ahead and deposit $100 US, we both can get $10 in Bitcoin just for getting started. In other potentially very, very bullish news for Bitcoin here is that despite the price rising, Google Trends are still showing that the interest remains really low. So what this shows us is that we are nowhere near a blow off top at this point in time. Bitcoin recently had a sharp move up to where the price crossed the 55K mark for the first time since May. However, despite such an increase, Google Trends reveals a different picture about the general interest in the crypto, or Bitcoin in this case. In case you're not sure how Google Trends works, 100 is basically the most popular when it's been searched for, the day that it was most searched for, and then the rest of it is based on percentage. So if you hit 50, that would be 50% of the amount of searches as happened at the highest point in time there. What do the trends mean? So that's not very high right now as compared to where we were before. And when we take a look over the last few years, we are nowhere near. We are about 25, we're at 26% of where we were way back here in 2017 or December of 2017 when we hit the last peak of the last bull market. Basically, this is showing that there is a relative lack of new interest in Bitcoin right now. It also means that the surge in Bitcoin price at this point in time is mostly driven by old money. So there's not a lot of new interest coming into this space at this point in time, which in my opinion is indicative that we are nowhere near, like I said, the end of this cycle. When we come back and look at Google Trends, when we've gone on those parabolic runs, you will see the interest just starts spiking. So this is from 2017. This bottom here was at the end of November, and then it spiked all the way until the end of December. What was happening to the price at that point? If we scroll back here, so from November to December, we went up 231%. Once again, here we spiked up from December, beginning of December, until the beginning of January. What happened to the Bitcoin price? We went up another 134%. So when you see something like Google Trends start to absolutely explode up like this, that means that there's going to be obviously more people are searching for it, and it's usually newer people coming into the space. If you've been in Bitcoin or if you've been in cryptocurrency for a while, you're likely not typing it in to Google search to find where to go get it. You've already got it. So this is the newer people coming into the space, and that is what really drives the FOMO and the end of the cycle peaks. So in my opinion, based on this, what we've got going on here, we've kind of been flat since back in July. It's been trading, or not trading, it's been trending sideways for the last few months. Once we start to see that start to tick up, and spike up, we are going to see the price also spike up. And that is the point where I will begin taking some profits off the table and moving them into stablecoins. If you stuck around till the end, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you got some value out of this video, and make sure to leave a comment down below for anything else that you want me to discuss on this channel, and I will make sure to cover that in one of my future videos. And that's it for today, folks. I will see you on the next episode from the Crypto Cabin. Let's get it.